Can you describe the original That Dill Guy post that you did? What was really on your mind when you posted?
Was that cool when you were doing in that on the movie? I mean, did you have fun? I don't know. I mean, was it really snowing? I mean,
So, what is the name of the gift that Ralphie wants for Christmas? Welcome back to another major award edition of Talking a Christmas Story with the Cast. I'm your host, Yano Anaya, and this week we're talking to a fan who is at the center of both controversy and hilarity. And we're going to get to the bottom of how she really feels. The A Christmas Story family welcomes everyone, regardless of who you are, where you come from, and even how you happen to feel about all the emails that I send out to you guys. But the important thing to remember is that we are more united than we are different. And the things that bring us together are far deeper and ultimately more important than those things that separate us. You see, today's guest didn't have the chance to grow up with A Christmas Story as part of her childhood. She saw the movie for the first time as an adult, and it captured her attention on the first watch. A Christmas Story has since become an important part of her life. It's a testament to the staying power of the film and the ability it has to capture the imagination of all audiences in a way that goes beyond simple nostalgia. And not that there's anything wrong with just a little bit of nostalgia. At times, sentiments like this can actually connect us to who we are, where we've come from, and our loved ones. I think this movie is imbued with nostalgia, as it was filmed in the 1980s, but it is set in the 40s or 50s. No matter when you watched A Christmas Story for the first time, it has always felt like a film out of time, in the sense that it really is timeless. The stories of family, tradition, standing up to your bullies, and not caving into peer pressure. When that peer pressure involves a frozen metal pole, the stories and their messages are still applied. And maybe we know that we need these stories now more than ever. Perhaps this is why such an amazing community has formed around A Christmas Story. We all want to get together and share our traditions with others, and even share opinions, jokes, and memes. Lucky for us, we have a guest who did just that. Our guest today is Cynthia Wenzel, the original creator of That Dill Guy. That post was in our community, which was crazy controversial, and it went viral. And as of now, that meme brings us all a little bit closer together with a lot of joy. We wanted to bring her on to hang out, chat about the meme and even the movie, and hear how she really feels about all this crazy Christmas Story stuff. And if you don't remember or don't even know about That Dill Guy meme, you've been missing out, but don't worry, we'll catch you up on everything. And we're going to talk more about how Cynthia's love for this movie has inspired Christmas traditions and joyful spirits all year round. And so without further ado, here is Cynthia. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Cynthia. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I wanted to start off by asking you just about the first time that you ever saw A Christmas Story, because I know that you actually didn't watch this as a child. So I'm curious as to understand, when did you actually start to watch this and why this movie captured your attention?
actually, I didn't see it when I was a kid. The first time I saw it was after the 1995 when my son was born. And what happened was I was at home a lot because I had two kids. So the movie came on and I was like, oh, wow. And my father-in-law at that time was the one who had the video cassette of it. Yes, video, not DVD, video,
Yes.
VCR. And I sat there and watched it. I absolutely just died laughing. It was hilarious. So I kept watching it and kept watching it. And then TBS decided to do that 24-hour marathon.
Yeah.
And when my son was about 9 or 10, he had the Ralphie glasses, he had the Ralphie hair. It's just a big joke in my family about that.
That's amazing. So as you watched it for the first couple of times, tell me, how did it make you feel? Like the scenes that made you laugh, right? I mean, it made you happy, but what was it that captured you? Like, what were the scenes that really kind of resonated with you, and why?
Just the whole plot, really. I mean, the dad, the mother, the kids. I mean, different sayings. I guess the first time that it really got me was when Oh Fudge came on. And of course, they don't have that on, regular TV because they can't say it. I was like, Oh Fudge was my saying for the next 3 years.
That's amazing. That's very cool. So, um, how does A Christmas Story, what does it represent to you nowadays? And have you and your family developed any traditions around the movie?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's just, it's not how families are now. It's how they should be. Okay. With nowadays, nobody doing anything to stay in a family unit. We watch it every year. I drive my kids now are 32 and 29. And if there isn't a Christmas story on here at the house on every TV on Christmas Day, there's something wrong.
So it is a family tradition to even have it in the background every single year, but that's
Yeah,
basically what it
keeping
is.
the tradition going, basically.
That's amazing. I love how important the movie has actually become in with you and with your whole family. And I'm always impressed as to how this film brings so many people together to share the joy, how it brings the emotions out of them, right? So one of the places that we do come together to share these stories and special moments is our online community, right? So how did you actually find us and what inspired you to seek us out?
A couple years ago, I saw it was, you know how Facebook says people you may know, and it came up, so I just joined.
Very cool. So Facebook gave you the lead, and you basically said, "Oh, Christmas Story family, that sounds cool." So that's when you joined. And what year was it?
Yep. I'm sorry.
What year was it?
COVID, probably
Wow, okay,
around 2021.
2020, 2021. Awesome. Okay, all right. So, thank you for sharing those special moments, especially within your family. Now, let me ask you: do your kids watch it with their families now, or by themselves still?
If they don't, they're in trouble.
So it's that strong within you, huh? That's amazing. I love it. Okay, so let's kind of get into it now, right? So can you describe the original That Dill Guy post that you did? What was really on your mind when you posted that? Let's talk about what you said and why it went so viral. So
All right. It
what was
was a
on
long day, and I had been getting email after email after email, and I was like, okay, now. And I posted. I said to the group, I said, this Dill guy, and I know who I was talking about, and I know your name, and I know what was going on. I just said, there's no other reason. I guess I should have put for me to make it relevant. It's already relevant, the movie. So, I mean, all this emails I was getting, you got to remember, I read emails for my job at work 8 hours a day. So it kept I had to turn it off, kept making ding, 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 ding. And I was like, okay, I'll have to read these later. But then that's where where I started it. And see, the reason I posted that on that page, because they know who you are.
they sure
Okay. All I had to say was that Dill guy. And they should have, every single one of them should have said, she knows who she's talking about.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
it
I
did.
know who I was referring to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it created a viral effect. Like literally people were being kind and people were also being nasty at the same time. So, for
Yep.
us, we were like, well, this is a lot of engagement on this post. Let's figure out why, what happened. And so we read your post. I was like, oh my God, I love that. Like that is my new nickname. I've got to adopt that. And so, when you did that, I know that in your intention, was because of the day. It was, just saying to yourself, it's already relevant. You know what I mean? I get that. But what you did was you literally changed the future of what Grover Dill, for me at least, for what
Mm-hmm.
a representation of what Grover Dill can be. So, I thought that your inspiration to do that, and it wasn't your intention again, but the inspiration that you had to actually do that gave me the inspiration, the motivation to take that on as my actual nickname. So thank you for that. Thank you. I
That's
appreciate
funny.
that. And it did. It went viral, which was amazing. So,
Mm.
I hope that you know how much joy it's actually brought me and so many people in this community, even though some folks tried to get a little bit of heated, you know what I mean? But I really wanted to show my affection and just let you know that I appreciate what you did. So don't look at it as a very negative thing. It was actually a very positive thing. Sometimes people may take it in that manner, but that's okay. That's okay because we always come back with a lot of love, right? Because the movie is what's important, right?
Mhm.
So I wanted to take a quick moment just to ask you, if you have any questions for me or about the podcast, about the movie, or just anything else that maybe your heart, wants to learn.
Was that cool when you were doing in that on the movie? I mean, did you have fun? I don't know. I mean, was it really snowing? I mean,
Great questions. Yeah. So, at 10 years old, it was in the beginning when I first got hired, it was cumbersome because the reason why it was cumbersome, Cynthia, is because I had to cut all my hair off. I had long hair when I was 10 years old and I had been growing it my entire life. Remember, this is back in the early 80s, right? And so my mom talked me into cutting it all off. And so, of course, being an actor, that was my job. My sister was a very famous actress as well at the same time. So, and knowing that being an actor, you are characters, and being characters means you may have to change the way that you look. And so I had to accept that, cut all my hair off. And from there, it became so exciting. Like the flight going into Cleveland was amazingly, surprisingly exciting. And then meeting, like for me back in the day, Scott Schwartz and Peter Billingsley were already child stars. So I got to meet superstars already. I got to work with superstars. So here I am, Grover Dill, this little bully, which I did a lot of work when I was a kid, but I wasn't as famous as those two just yet, right? Because Scott Schwartz he was the toy. He was in very big movies, and so was Peter Billings. Like he's been working his entire life. And so for me, it was like exciting to work with these two famous actors. And then I met Scott Farkas, who is Zach Ward. Zach Ward, he was a pretty famous actor in Canada, not necessarily in the United States. And so when I met Zach Ward, we literally clicked like we were brothers. Like from the very first conversation, we just had the same kind of swagger, the same kind of vibe, and we became really close friends. Now, when it comes to weather, they filmed a lot of outside, captures of the house. And that's the only thing they did with the house was just film the outside portion of it. We waited and waited and waited in Cleveland for it to snow. And it never did. It never snowed. So they had to get very creative. So the snow scenes that you see of the A Christmas Story house in the movie was actually soap. It was soap and it was potato flakes and it was anything that they could get their hands on from the local ice skating rink, from the local hockey rink, they even shipped snow in from the mountain. Like they tried to do everything in their power to really make it look like it was winter on that house. And they did a fabulous job, as you are aware of. But because it didn't continue to snow, and that didn't last but maybe 2 or 3 days, with all the extra money and time and effort that the set crew and everybody put into it, they had to move the whole entire crew to Canada because there's plenty of snow in Canada. There was plenty of snow there. So we moved everybody to Canada and they built the whole house inside of a studio. So everything else that you see that has to do with the house was actually in a studio in Toronto, Canada. The back alley scenes, the school scenes, everything that we did that was outside was done in Canada. So, yes, it was so much fun as a 10-year-old going to Cleveland, meeting these superstars, hanging out with the background performers, and going to school. Of course, as a kid, you have to go to school every day when you go on set, but it's only 4 hours, right? So we're like, go to school for 4 hours. We have the rest of the day to work and have fun. And, it was an amazing experience to be Grover Dill in A Christmas Story at that age, at that time in the 80s, 1983, right? So great question.
I just think that would be neat for a kid,
Yeah, it was.
But and then again, I understand that it can be quite overwhelming for children also. So.
It can, but there's a lot of prepping that goes into it. And you also have your parents there to support you. You know what I mean? So there's a really big support system in my experience. And I know that, it hasn't been the same experience for a lot of child actors, but in my personal experience, I had a blast. And Bob Clark, the director, was just amazing to work with. It was like he had a knack to know how to get kids to do what he wanted to show while we were recording, right? When it was action, it was like he knew exactly how to be able to tell us exactly what he wanted to see from us. So it was a great experience. I can't say anything negative outside of it being, below 20 degrees in Canada, because that's about how cold it was.
I think it's neat being like in something like that, like a legacy kind of thing, And it turned out wasn't really good at the box office, but now it's like just extremely popular.
Yes. And well, Cynthia, here's the truth is that it became popular because of Gene Shepard's writing, of Bob Clark's directing, because everybody who was cast in the movie, but more importantly, you as a fan, when you watched it back in 1996, right? That's when it became like, right, this 24-hour period of time, because it resonated with you. It became your family tradition. And every single year as you watch it, it's telling the people from Warner Brothers that the ratings are going up, ratings are going up, ratings are going up. Like, people actually love this
Right.
movie. And if it wasn't for all the fans loving the movie and showing their love for it, it wouldn't be a legacy piece like it is today, right? So
Wow.
again, you're a
And you
part.
did meet Tom Shepard, right?
Gene Shepard, I did meet him.
Oh, Gene, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Gene, that's okay. Gene Shepard was on and off the set because Bob Clark didn't really want him on the set because he was always trying to intervene and direct, but he was the writer. And so I had a very
Right.
short conversation with him on set one day, and that was, I didn't even really realize who he was, to be honest with you. I was more focused on Bob Clark,
Okay.
who was the director. You know what I mean? So, but now I know who Gene Shepard is. Gene Shepard is a genius. His background, his history, what he has done with his life, even coming from military, being a screenwriter, being a radio show host. I mean, he's just very brilliant, and his writing shows. So
I mean, he had a funny name for this when he first initially named it. Do you remember what that was when he wrote the book?
do you remember?
It's something I think it had something to do with the price of something.
In
I don't
God,
remember exactly, but I know.
in God we trust, and everybody else pays.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. All right. Well, amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. So what I want to do now is we've got a very fun game segment. So this week, we're going to do a little bit of Christmas Story trivia. Okay. So just a heads up, if you've never seen the A Christmas Story, now I'm going to back up, minor. I'm going to back up real quick because this is talking to the audience of, YouTube. So, I'm going to go ahead and say action. This week, we're actually going to do something a little bit different. It is a Christmas Story trivia. So just a heads up, everybody out there, if you've never seen the A Christmas Story movie before, I would love for you to pause this podcast right now, go watch the movie, and then come on back and play with us. I'm serious. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, pause this podcast, go watch this epic movie, and then come back and join us for the trivia questions. Okay. So, as you guys watch this right now, I want you to literally just have fun, be with it. There are no spoilers ahead. And I know most of you have seen this movie more than once, especially you, Cynthia. But just in case, I don't want to receive any angry DMs, because if you do, you're going to get hit with a snowball sandwich by Cynthia and myself. Yes. Because we are true Christmas Story lovers. So, all right, Cynthia, are you ready? All
Uh-huh.
right, let's get started with an easy one. So, what is the name of the gift that Ralphie wants for Christmas?
Uh, it's the BB gun, but it's their, oh no, carbon action, riders. I don't have to know what that, I know it's a BB gun, but I don't remember it's a Red Rider
Yes,
carbon action multi BB gun.
almost. You almost got it. So, it is the Red Ryder Carbine Action 200 shot range model air rifle.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Now, what is the name of the kid? The kid who none of us want to be, but some of us can probably relate to, who gets triple dog dared on the playground. What's his name?
Schwartz.
He did the triple dog dare. Who got triple
Oh,
dog?
he did. Oh my God, you put me on a spot.
What's the question?
You got
What?
some back there? You got some help back there?
He's want to know what the guy's name who uh, did the double dare. Wasn't Swartz. He gave the double dare.
Flick, wasn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't it Flick?
Flick.
Yes, it was Flick. That's right. Good job. Who was that back there giving you the help?
My daughter. She's listening.
Hi, what's your name?
Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you for chipping in. Appreciate that. That's amazing.
Wave high.
Hi. All right. Now, what is the name of the town the movie is set in? This is a toughie because it's not actually a real town, but give it your best shot.
I don't remember that.
I don't know that one either.
Do you remember what city it's in? What state it's in?
Well, it wasn't. It's still in Ohio, right?
Nope.
No. Oh, then we don't know.
So the whole movie
I
is
know a
based
lot, still
in
know that.
Indiana.
What is it?
Indiana. Homan, Indiana.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Duh.
All right.
Hey, ask me about the Frankenstein on the floor during Christmas. But
Okay, what three adults in Ralphie's life told him he's going to shoot his eye out? Bonus points if you could tell me what happens right after the last person tells him he's going to get his eye shot out. What three people?
I know the three people. It was
Ooh.
Mom,
Yes.
Teacher,
Yes.
and Santa Claus.
Yay, you did it. Good job. That's amazing. Right on. Amanda, how young are you?
Yes, sir. I'm 32.
Okay, so let's see if you guys can get this. As a mom, you know exactly how hard it is to be a mom and to get your kids to eat. So our mom in the movie is absolutely hilarious and incredible in how she pulls this off with Randy. So how does the mom get Randy to eat his dinner?
she asked, "How does a piggy eat?"
Yes, that is amazing. Good job. All right. So where does Ralphie say he learned cuss words from? And I don't mean where he did actually learn them from, because we all know that.
I know it.
What do you got? Yes! Your daughter is on it. I love this legacy you've created, Cynthia. She knows the movie. This is amazing. All right. So
I told you.
Yeah, I sure did. All right. When the old man receives his major award, we learn that he speaks a little bit of Italian, or at least he thinks he does. So what word does he mispronounce when he's looking at the box? And how does he
Fragile.
Yay, awesome. All right. So everyone knows this iconic scene where Ralphie absolutely loses it and starts wailing on the neighborhood bully, Scott Farkas. But before he snaps, he receives a bad grade on a school assignment that sets him off in a bad mood. What grade did Ralphie get on his paper?
C plus.
You guys are on it. Good job. Now, for all of you listeners out there that have never seen this movie, you can see how important it is to so many fans because they know the answers to these questions. So now this might be a tougher one for you guys, okay? So prepare yourself. What is the actual name of the dish that Ralphie calls Chinese turkey? When the family goes to a Chinese restaurant.
Duck.
Wow, I couldn't even finish the sentence. You already knew the answer. That's amazing. Peking duck. Yes, for Christmas.
Peking duck, yeah.
All right, so let me take you back to that scene where Ralphie beats up his bully. Now, right before the madness takes him over, Ralphie pushes another young kid aside. What nickname would you give that young little bully kid?
I'll say it again.
Let me take you back to the scene where Ralphie beats up his bully, right? Scott Farkas. Right before the madness takes him over, Ralphie pushes another young kid or a smaller bully aside. What nickname would you give that small little bully?
That's you, the Dill Guy.
Yes! You said it! I love it! I love it. That's amazing. Good job. All right. So I'm going to open up the floor one more time because I did ask you if there was any questions or anything that you wanted to learn about the movie. Go ahead and ask, or the podcast. So Amanda, do you have any questions about the movie, about the character, anything that your heart desires? I want to be here for you.
Yeah, actually, I do have a question. How cold was it doing those scenes in the wintertime?
Good question. So it varied for each day, but I can tell you the coldest day was, remember the scene where I popped out of the trash can and I jumped down and I said, all right, who's next? It was about below 27 degrees on that day.
Wow.
Doesn't
Yeah, we'll
look it.
stay in here in Virginia.
Yeah, it doesn't look it, but I can tell you that it was so cold that when the scene was cut, everybody ran to their campers or their little trailers to get warmed up. And when the set crew was
I
ready,
do have one more question.
yes.
How did they make his eyes yellow?
Great question. So there was this weird thing that it was like a yellow little tab that they would dip in water and they would tap it on his eyeball and it would put a yellow dye clear coat over his eye, which only lasted like 10 or 15 minutes. So once they did that, they had to shoot that scene really quickly in order to capture that. Good question.
Hmm.
I know you
Did you make a cameo on the newer movie?
I did. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Good. Yeah. So I have a little cameo.
That's a question that you shouldn't ask.
Love it.
I've seen everything except for the summer camp one.
Okay. Okay. Great. Amanda, any other questions?
Nah,
Okay.
pretty
Awesome.
much know almost everything.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys for being fans. Thank you for showing up to the podcast. We really, truly appreciate your participation. And again, this is going to be posted on YouTube. If you're not subscribed already, please do. That way you'll get notifications when it's posted. And if there is anything else that your heart desires to want to learn, don't ever hesitate to ask, okay? We're here for you.
No,
Thank-
no problem.
All right. Thank you. And we will see you soon. One thing I love about the fans is how much they care about A Christmas Story. They care enough to want to talk about it, share their insights and special Christmas story moments with strangers, and best of all, to share how they feel with those of us who had a part to play in bringing this incredible story to life. Cynthia, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with us and to share how you felt with a good sense of humor and a deep care for the film. For those of you out there who are fans of the movie, we hope to hear from you as well. Go ahead and leave a comment on YouTube or join our Facebook community by searching A Christmas Story Family on Facebook. We post a lot of contests, announcements about when we go live and more. So I highly recommend joining the group so that you don't miss out on any of this really cool stuff that we're doing. And so you can share your thoughts and your takeaways from the film with the community. Because the only thing more fun than watching A Christmas Story alone is watching it with thousands of your closest superfan friends. I sincerely hope to see all of you guys there. I love you all. Till next time.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.